Hey everybody, I don't know about you, but as you've watched out over the world, the war in Russia and Ukraine is not just isolated to Eastern Europe. It's spread all over the world, and you can see it in market instabilities. You can see it here. People who do not think that that war is affecting you, all you got to do is look at gas prices. You look at your food prices. You see the global change that has happened. But you know something that's also affected investments as well. And I've said all along, legacy precious metals is your navigator. They're the ones that see you through to get to the next level. The good news about this is even with market volatility, market instability, you've got options. And gold prices are rising as investors turn to gold. And gold presents a hedge against this inflation and that protects you against the weakening dollar, which we are seeing. Legacy Precious Metals is the only company I trust to deal with gold and silver and the other precious metals. You need this investment. You need this as part of your portfolio to keep you buffered from what we're seeing in the world, war and volatility in the market. This is where you need to be. Call Legacy Precious Metals today. Be proactive about this. Get on board with it. Call them at 866-528-1903, 866-528-1903, or you can download their free investor's guide at legacypminvestments.com. legacypminvestments.com, your navigator in a volatile world of investments.
Do you want to listen to a podcast?
By who?
Georgia GOP Congressman Doug Collins.
How is it?
The greatest thing I have ever heard in my whole life.
I could not believe my ears.
In this house, wherever the rules are disregarded, chaos and mob rule. It has been said today, where is bravery? I'll tell you where bravery is found and courage is found. It's found in this minority who has lived through the last year of nothing but rules being broken, people being put down, questions not being answered, and this majority say, be damned with anything else. We're going to impeach and do whatever we want to do. Why? Because we won an election. I guarantee you, one day you'll be back in the minority and it ain't gonna be that fun.
All right, we're back. Friday's finest. I mean, again, you know, the stupidity of the world we see around us is just amazing. I mean, every day you look around, you've had, the craziness of a Secretary of Transportation who doesn't go to a major train derailment after 3 weeks and then doesn't understand why everybody's upset about him. We have Colin Kaepernick, who is now blaming, many ways, his adoptive white parents for not understanding and perpetuating systematic racism. I'll let you read those stories and anything in between them. I just at a loss to continue to comment on this. The perpetual victimhood seems to continue there. And then you get into the story, and then we'll bring James in on this. We're going to touch on it a little bit. Tiger Woods is by far, without a doubt, the most amazing golfer in the last of all of golf. I mean, look, Nicklaus, Hogan, Wise Watson, all of them, great golfers. Woods in his prime, nobody touching. Nobody. I mean, just ungodly. Okay? But the man has absolute no concept, it seems like, of how to deal with off the course. And James, today, we start off Friday's finest with he's being sued. And I'm not trying to be funny here, for our folks listening today, James, but I've read several stories, and I don't mean to imply something nefarious, but I've heard her described as a girlfriend, and then I've heard her say she's suing she was an employee and non-disclosure agreements. I mean, how can somebody be so good on a golf course and so absolutely horrific in the rest of life?
His social life, what's fascinating, and hello everybody. What's fascinating about Tiger Woods is up until, was it 2009 was the Thanksgiving incident? Am I getting that right about?
Yeah, roughly when the fact that he was competing with Wilt Chamberlain for the
exactly.
I've betted more people in the world.
It's amazing that for that lasted so long that he was married, happy, blah blah, everything was great, and then it all went to hell. Since then, it's been crazy off the course. This story is insane. The story is that he told his girlfriend or whatever she is, I'm trying to find it too, I can't get a straight answer, to get her out of the house. He told her to pack a bag and meet him at the airport, and then he locked the door. He changed all the locks on his doors. That's fascinating to me. It's hilarious, it's sad, it's funny, it's all things.
Yeah, well, it's just not. And again, you feel bad on me. I mean, there's a lot was, he had the wreck where he hurt himself. He came back. He played. He won. I mean, just all of these kind of things. Okay, his kid is phenomenal as well. Okay, I hope his kid, his son, who they play together. I mean, his golf swing is just sick. I mean, it's his dad made over. Oh, by the way, on another topic, we talk about kids and golf. You know who else has got a golfer in the family?
Who's that?
Donald Trump Jr.
Oh,
Donald
is that
Trump
right?
Jr.'s Kai. His oldest daughter she's awesome. You can find it on social media. Don Jr. Instagrams and all about it, and she has an Instagram account. I mean, we're talking, scratch golfer, below scratch golfer.
Really?
15. She's got 275-yard drive at 15.
That's crazy. I don't even come close to that. I'm a 50-yard guy at best. I'm a 90 handicap.
I mean, but I mean, you see these kind of things. So I mean, look, I mean, he has that. He has the everything else. But I mean, again, I will also, and this is why I love Friday's Finest here, James. I had a topic here I thought about, but I haven't had. Have you had a chance to watch Full Swing on Netflix?
No, I haven't watched it yet. I keep telling myself I'm going to throw it on, and then I go to something else. I get distracted, and I never put it on.
No, you got to go. 8 or 9 episodes, I think it is. Just amazing. I got to give the folks credit. That they did a amazing job to get that together. And it's really amazing, the behind the scenes kind of stuff. And you get to know people and players on the PGA that you normally wouldn't get to know.
Right.
And so now I'm following some of these guys. And one of the guys, they were talking about, he could be a top 30 player in the world, but he doesn't want to be a top 30 player in the world. He said, I think he made the quote in the show, Darman was his name, I think. Anyway, he said, somebody's got to be the 70th best player in the world. I'm okay with that.
I like the idea that he's so skilled at something that he's like, yeah, I'll just be average at it. Like, I know I could be better. I'll just be average at it. Yeah,
and then he actually showed that he won last year and did this some financial kind of things. And I mean here's the deal with golf. And look, and we could, I mean, sometimes, like I said, this is the way the Friday show works. It really showed this coming up with live golf and PGA and how much they make and how much they don't make. But here's something interesting. And granted, it's about like everything else. What they make is not what they necessarily have because of expenses and everything else. But, even a golfer that is 40th, 50th, 60th in the world has made a lot of them made $2 to $3 million that year. Yeah. Made $2 to $3 million. Okay. Yeah. And again, they have to spend it. It reminds me of the time that Shaq said that, his first year contract, he was talking about young players. He said, I made $20 million my first year. He said, I got a check for $10,900,000. And he said, I went out. Have you seen this?
Yes, I have.
I mean, it's amazing. He said he goes to buy a car, and the guy says, well, he didn't think he could afford a car, so he bought 3 Rolls Royces.
The beauty of
a $5 million house.
Has anyone ever? I don't know if anyone listening, but have you ever watched the 30 for 30 broke, where players go broke? You want to be depressed?
I've seen parts of it. It is amazing.
That one is a tough watch because it's true and it's not fair. I do believe this. Most of the time, these guys are coming into the league. They're at most 20, 22 years old. Doug, do you remember if you were fiscally responsible 22 years old? I know I wasn't.
No.
If you handed me a contract for $5 million plus, do you think I'm going to be fiscally responsible at 20 years old? I'm going to have a Ferrari in my driveway. I'm going to have a house with a pool with the Playboy Mansion grotto. I'm going to do the whole thing. It's just the way it works. Like, you can't expect people to spend their money correctly. It always blows my mind.
Well, it is, and now that's why they're requiring like rookies and all to go through, literally go through financial management.
It is for the best.
They think that they have to, hire. Of course, they hire an agent, which is going to get 10% or more. They're going to hire a publicist. Look, I get some of it, but the sports nutritionists, the chefs. I mean, it's a business, and if they don't get that business end of it, it is bad. But but that was what that full swing. By the way, good,
Yeah.
like the free publicity. If Netflix wants to advertise on the Doug Collins podcast, please, slide right into the DougCollinsPodcast.com. Go to that email button and say, Doug, we want you on Netflix. I'll be there. I got you. Okay. But Netflix, the full swing is actually really, really good show to look at. So it just like it lightened up the how much they were spending and how much they were playing and the family situations and they had one episode. I'm gonna say this. Probably we'll move on from here. The Brooks Koepka episode.
He's so funny.
Was really telling. Interesting episode.
Good to know. Did they bring up his feud with?
They brought up everything, and then also his slump. So it's really interesting. Also interesting enough, trivia question for those of you listening to the podcast today. Brooks Koepka married a girl from Winder, Georgia, who went to high school with my niece.
Look at that. Anyway, you know everybody, Doug. You know all the connections, huh?
It is, hey, we got ins and outs everywhere. I mean, it is where it goes. All right, moving on. James, all right. You're our Texan by way of New Jersey, male. And you understand that you're a male, correct?
Correct.
Okay. There's an old, I don't understand this. I get you. And again, hear me clearly to anybody listening to this podcast. You can declare yourself to be whatever you want to be. Okay. It's America. God bless you. If you want to be identify as a cat, identify as a cat. If you want to identify as a, but don't intrude on me having to live into your fantasy. And I don't understand this, James, and I haven't dealt with this a lot on the show, but it's just getting to the point now to where I can't help it. Okay, and again, hear me clearly to all of you out there. I don't care how you identify. If you're a male and you want to identify as a female, fine, but you're not a female. You're not. Okay, let's just be honest about this. It's a male and a female. I mean, South Park was doing this, 10 years ago? I mean, this goes back to, if you ever want to get a good one, and James, we're going to put this in. I think for listeners here, we're going to input this in right here. There is a clip from Monty Python's Holy Grail 40 plus years ago that dealt with this. And it's outrage. So look, get it, folks. Do whatever you want to do. But I do not understand why the White House, Jill Biden, the First Lady, on International Women's Day this week, gave an award to a man. At what point does this degenerate from women?
The international, first of all, was it given out yesterday or Wednesday? As for International Women's Day?
Yeah.
And who was it? I haven't read on this at all. Who was it given to? Do you know?
No, I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody I didn't recognize. It was not like a.
So it's Woman of the Year. Is that what it is?
Well, it was a woman award. Okay, Jill Biden gives biological women of courage award. Up your games, ladies. Let's see, Jill Biden. Gay and Secretary of State Blinken were presenting a biological male from Argentina an award for
International Woman of Courage. I see what this is now.
11 extraordinary women around the world, and Argentina Alba Ruda, if I mispronounced that, I apologize, was introduced at the ceremony as a transgender woman who kicked out of classrooms, barred from sitting for exams, refused job, all this stuff that they face these challenges for, and was given a idea that this was International Women's Day. Even Sarah Huckabee Sanders, I was actually out in Arkansas this week, and Sarah just signed an amazing education bill out there. But, she tweeted out, it's an International Women's Day, a good time to remember that Democrats can't even tell you what a woman is. Open themselves up to this. How does that?
That's not going to, Doug, it's not going to change anything. That's the direction it's in. That's the direction we're in,
Well, but to me, it's actually offensive to women.
Well, it's kind of like when you see I don't want to compare. I'm not 100% compared to this, but we talked about this on the podcast before. Why it's like when they just reboot a movie and just put women in it. Why not give them something of their own? And that's this again. It's giving them something of their own, and then it looks like it's not being given to them.
40, 50 years ago, you're 100 plus years ago, you're dealing with women's suffrage. Women could not vote. Okay, we're dealing with real struggles in which women have been discriminated and finding their way in the marketplace. We hear about the glass ceiling all the time. And look, I don't, no one, and I'm, please hear me from the love of my heart. Do not ever, if you're on this podcast, you do not ever mistreat anyone. You can disagree with them. You can believe that they're wrong, but people are not, mistreating people is not the way to handle this. But also elevating and basically perpetuating a falsehood is not the way to do it either, especially when you're dealing in these situations. And it's just, I mean, look, I'm not trying to get into a war with anybody here, but I just, look, I believe this to be, another idea in which you're projecting your virtue signaling here. But also in perpetuating something that is inherently not true. I mean, think about of all the women around the world who could have got this award, and they chose to make a political statement with one of the awards.
Well, it's not the issue of whether it's not. Yes, if you want to have the argument of whether or not they're a woman or not, that's whatever. Let's put that to the side for a second. It's the idea that how if you do believe, how genuine is it that you believe that, or are you doing this as a political stunt? That's the actual that to me is more the question than anything. If you want to argue whatever, you want to believe what you want to believe, let's put that to the side. The White House does that because they're trying to get a group to vote for them. That's it. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
That's how it looks. It doesn't look genuine. If you believe that, it doesn't look genuine. And I think the thing is people see through it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what makes it worse. Because you almost see more phony by choosing someone like that, choosing a transgender person. You seem way more phony than if you were to just pick the woman of the year. Right? Like, they seem phony. Yeah. And that, first of all, I mean, you could be Democrat, Republican, or Independent. This whole the Biden administration always seems kind of phony. So,
yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, I've avoided it. I avoided it for a while, but I just couldn't anymore. I mean, especially if that. It's just so. Anyway, folks. Again, there. I mean, when is a girl a girl? When is women women? It's just amazing to me. Moving on to another amazing situation that we got out, and this is something we've dabbled with before. There are rumors. In fact, one of the announcers, former quarterback for the Patriots, is now saying that he doesn't believe Brady is going to stay retired. There has been a week in which the New York Jets were all but going to sign Derek Carr. Derek Carr waited undoubtedly too long. They moved on. Then Aaron Rodgers became now the prime target. And supposedly, if you look at it, with anybody going to look at the Aaron Rodgers situation, they're basically awaiting an announcement that Aaron Rodgers is getting ready to be a New York Jet. I have a question for you. Is it the retirement? I've never heard of the Wisconsin area having retirement in New York City, but it seems like every quarterback for the Packers finds retirement in New York.
It's for the best. They're so bored with Wisconsin and nothing to do there that the last year of their career, they want it to be so exciting and eventful that they just get yelled at 24/7 by fans and media. Has anyone actually seen Aaron Rodgers deal with the media? He's dealing with, yes, very national media. He's a very famous person. Has he ever dealt with New York media on a daily basis? Because they're ugly. People have folded like lawn chairs here in New York. I'm sorry, I'm in Dallas now, but when I live in New York. In New York is a nightmare. Have you listened to New York sports radio for a half an hour and you'll find out about the people of New York.
Yeah. Or just go walk around for a little while. Yeah, I mean, look, it is a brutal area. He's very fragile, it seems, with the media. And for some of it, rightfully so. I mean, going back to when he took over for Favre, and all the media around that, and the things, and then over the years. Look, I've always thought he's a good athlete, good stuff, but it's just at times it's just like I don't.
He's annoying.
Yeah, he's just different. And again, to be quite, how do you put him in the same category as? And I'm honest here: a Brady, a Mahomes, a Roethlisberger, others who all have multiple.
No, he's in He's in the category. I'm not going to put him in the Marino. He's semi in the Marino category. Where Marino, if he had one ring, would be in an astronomical category because he was that good. But there's a category of ridiculously talented, more talented than most people will ever be, will rack up all the awards, but the big game escapes them or they don't have enough of it. And again, I think one ring is enough for most people, but not
because
someone like Aaron Rodgers
so
who's chasing Brady and Manning and all the guys and why am I Montana. You can't call yourself chasing those guys and not come up with the ring. And I don't care whether he gets one or not. He's going to the Hall of Fame. He'll be fine. But he is the guy that has a tough time in the big game outside of one.
Yeah, it's interesting though. He has won the one, and if you want to take that to a step further, and it's folks who are watching on Rumble or watching on YouTube today or Spotify, you can see I have my Raiders hat on. Derek Carr statistically has some of the best numbers over the past 8 to 10 years in the NFL. Period.
Absolutely.
Okay, but nobody talks about him for the most part as a Hall of Famer
because he's not a winner.
There's a reason they don't win. And he hasn't won a championship. He hasn't done that. It's going to be interesting to see where Carr. I would love to see Carr come to Atlanta. Actually, we're in desperate need of a quarterback. Although, this opens up a new topic that we're going to sit on here for a little bit.
Are you going to go to Lamar Jackson now?
Lamar Jackson.
How angry? How angry does this make you? That teams came out the very day that they got. Okay, let's do this real quick. It's a non-exclusive franchise tag, I believe it's called, where basically Lamar will be franchise tagged unless he can find a better deal out there from a different team, right?
Right.
A bunch of teams came out right away and said, we don't want Lamar Jackson. We won't be pursuing that. How stupid are you? I understand why they're doing it, but they're wrong.
But here's the deal. Owners, it is the biggest monopoly ever.
100%.
Okay? It is an oligarchy, probably is a better way to put it, because it's not just one. It's 36 teams, 32 teams? Yep. I mean, anyway.
32 teams.
Anyway, 32 teams. They saw what the absolutely moronic leadership in Cleveland did by guaranteeing all of $250 million to Deshaun Watson. And they're saying, we're not going to do that. And they said that was the dumbest thing. And so this could be a key though that could later on trigger a lawsuit that you remember the lawsuits that actually started free agency to start with and everything. If they can show, and it's not sort of hard to do, the sort of collusion between owners on this.
Oh yeah,
that's a problem. And look, Lamar Jackson is a good athlete. He's a good quarterback. He's worth money. He's worth more than some of the others getting paid.
He's worth every dime you give him. Whatever the number is, it'll be worth it. Unless you're giving him Patrick Mahomes' salary, it is worth it.
Yeah, I agree. And so you got a lot of stuff. Look, the football is out there. One last thing before we move topics on the football, because we can spend here a time here as well. And it is all right. Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being he's definitely going to play next year, 1 saying nope, he's going to be raising kittens with his daughter. Brady back in or not?
Is 10 a yes?
Yes.
Then the answer is 0.
Okay.
He is never coming back to play football again.
I don't think he's coming back.
Can we hear real quick? What was the number that Fox News was giving him? Maybe Fox.
$340 million.
He's retired.
More than and they gave him a gap year, so they don't even make him start this year.
They literally gave him the Kevin Durant contract where they're like, you can skip the first year and you play for 3 years, and we're still going to pay you for that first year. He is not doing anything.
I think he's done. But also, I think the reason why Aaron Rodgers is even looking for another team for another year is because he doesn't want to be in the same Hall of Fame class as Tom Brady.
I would do the same thing.
I think that he don't want to be in that part. All right, moving right along. This is not a funny, but it is an interesting one. Saturday Night Live editing crew is going on strike April 1st if they don't get a better contract. I would think that they need to go on strike because the show is blowed for the last 5 years.
Doug, here's the thing I don't understand, and I'm not. I don't think they're the last live thing that's on television, really, besides the news and sports, and that's awesome. I like that aspect. How much money is SNL bringing in though for these? I'm not saying they don't deserve whatever they're asking for. They probably do. They're editors. That's a lot of work.
And look, I'm not bringing them down for that.
No.
This is where we're at.
No. What I'm saying is is SNL even bringing in? I'm really asking this because I don't know that many people in my generation who watch it. I watch highlights and stuff occasionally. How much are they bringing in that these people can demand money? Because it doesn't seem like that. I don't think. I mean, again, I'm probably wrong, but are they watching? Who's watching it? I'm really not trying to be funny, but it feels like everyone's watching on YouTube. And if those are the people they're talking about, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Well, here's the issue that you have, and it's just an understanding. Okay, back when SNL first started, NBC, ABC, CBS was it. Okay, bottom line, you either watch those three networks, or you don't watch TV, or you watch PBS. Okay, for me in Georgia, it was 2, 5, and 11 and 8. 2, 5, 11, ABC, CBS, NBC. 8, Channel 8 was the PBS station. Okay, that's all you had. And as the 80s progressed, cable became more of a thing. Cable was more movies, if you remember, and then you had sort of this stuff, and then it began to blossom until now. Networks are not the main go-to for a lot of people. People still watch them, I think, more out of habit than they do anything else. But remember the late night kings. I mean, Johnny Carson would have a huge audience compared to anything that is on right now. I mean, it would
there's 4 of them now.
Oh yeah.
There's 2. And don't get me wrong, whether you like them or not, they all do. Here's the thing. Here's the thing that matters the most. They all compete on YouTube. It doesn't. I don't know if they're competing on television anymore. They're competing on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because you'll see, for example, this past weekend was Travis Kelce was the host.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't know
that. No, and some of their videos were in the a million or and a half, right?
Yeah.
1.5 million they're tuning in for Travis Kelce, blah, blah. If you look at Jimmy Fallon and all them, they might get 500 to 1 million on a certain guest, and then certain guests explode and they get those. But for the most part, you're just competing on YouTube, and those are the only editors that should be getting paid. They're the ones that got to put that stuff together. I really don't know I really don't know much about this story. I just know that if there's the money to go around, pay him, but it doesn't seem like there is.
Well, it is, and I think it just goes the whole thing. And also, from a real friend, my whole part of this is not only just pay what they earn or whatever, but it's also the fact that comedy has lost its roots. Okay, the court jesters of the world, whether you like them or not, are the satirical beacons in your society. They're the ones.
They're the barometer.
That highlight. Yeah, they're the ones that highlight hey, you may be getting a little off here. I mean, it was the Saturday Night Lives. It was, the George Carlins, the Richard Pryors, the Eddie Murphys, the Fiddle. A couple more that were just, they were cutting edge, very crude, but again, many of them were the actual, conscience, if you would. Nowadays, I mean, you have things like, which is, again, amazing to me, The Simpsons, South Park, these kind of things that really pick at the social, okay, really, are we serious about what you're coming across here? And we're seeming to lose that. And I think people are moving away from it, which really transitions into one of our final topics here today. And that is the Oscars. And you can't talk about this year's Oscars without talking about last year's Oscars, which finally, if you would, ended this week with the Chris Rock Netflix live episode in which he finally hits back at Will Smith, not by hitting necessarily Will Smith, but sort of belittling him by saying your wife has already took everything you've got.
It was really funny to watch because we knew he was going to do something. He had to. He was going to respond. And Chris Rock was very funny in the fact that he was like, you literally hit the one person that you could beat up. Like he was making that joke or whatever. And, a little self-deprecation. But if everybody, I know how the last year has gone from that moment to this, to where we are today. Chris Rock did that show. By the way, funny, Chris Rock did that live. It was live on Netflix when it came out, which was great. Literally flubbed. He flubbed during that joke. It was very funny, and he just kept moving on. But yeah, he essentially virtually slapped Will Smith and just torched the whole family. And if you listen, you're gonna first of all, if you're gonna come in a comedian, best believe you hit the king, you better kill the king. And he went off on them. And it was only I don't remember, I only saw the last 10 and a half minutes of it. So I think that's what he did.
It was all it was, really. He saved it to the end.
Which was the right thing to do. And I don't know, man. I do like that Jimmy Kimmel said, if somebody tries to slap me, we will throw hands.
Yeah.
I do find that funny.
I'd like to say some of that. Kimmel and the rest of them are just, it's like, really, here we go. But speaking of the Oscars, and one of the things, and now that with Chris Rock and Will Smith, of course, won't be there to cause any more battery to anybody else. But I'll go back to something that I've talked about forever, and that is, what are these? I mean, in my mind, they made 11 Best Picture nominations. Now, I'm going to read these to you.
Yeah.
All Quiet on the Western Front, which is on Netflix. I haven't watched. I've heard it's really good, though.
Yes.
Avatar: The Way of Water. I didn't like the first one, so I don't know if I like the second
Fair
one
enough.
at all.
I understand why that's there. Go ahead.
The Banshees of Inisherin.
That's one of the best movies I've watched of the year. It was incredible.
Really?
I'm telling you. I know that it's a really good movie. Definitely worth a watch.
Okay. All right. Elvis. I can see that one.
Okay.
And then here's one. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Okay. Did you see that movie?
No.
Okay, Doug, that's another one that is an incredible movie. It was the beginning of the year, though. Beginning of 2022, I think.
All right. The Fableman, which is actually a bio of Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, I heard that one's just like a Oscar. That's he basically made that for the Oscars.
Yeah. Tar. Yeah.
I've never seen Tar. I've heard things about it, yes.
Yeah. My winner, Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick is such an awesome action flick. Start to finish.
It has no hope in Hootie of winning from these Oscar voters.
My guess is that Everything Everywhere All at Once might win, but I think
that's what they're saying.
Yeah, it was that movie. But again, though, you got to remember this, though, Doug. Top Gun exists because the first Top Gun exists. Everywhere, Everywhere, All at Once is a very unique movie, and that's why it'll win.
Yeah.
But Top Gun Maverick deserves every bit of love that it's getting. And I was not a Tom Cruise guy. I just thought he was annoying. He just is a rock star. Movie. He's just a rock star. Every movie he does is awesome. It just is.
Yeah, and he's gotten better in some of his older movies. The Reacher movies are actually really
They're also, first of all, if you guys please don't I deprive myself of watching the Mission Impossibles because I couldn't stand Tom Cruise. Do not deprive yourself. In the newest movie, by the way, he does his own stunts. He rides a motorcycle off a cliff, jumps off the motorcycle, and parachutes down. He does this, not a stunt double. It's not CGI. It is crazy, psycho Tom Cruise living out all of our fantasies.
Yep, that's it. So anyway, that's it. Triangle of Sadness and Women Talking.
Yeah, I heard of Triangle of Sadness. I haven't seen Women Talking. Can I just say one thing, by the way? We were talking about this earlier about comedy being the barometer and everything like that.
Yeah.
Do you know that Hulu just did History of the World Part 2? Are you aware of this? It is by Mel Brooks. He is the executive producer. But it's a lot of newer guys putting it together. Nick Kroll, Ike Barinholtz, Wanda Sykes, big comedians in our era. Doug, there are parts of it that are funny, but you can tell there are jokes that they just can't tell. Because let's be honest, Mel Brooks movies are not 2023 friendly, right?
No.
They're all hilarious, and they are all the best movies of their era. And there are certain
Monty
parts.
Python, Mel Brooks eras, you can't. Yeah,
No, you can't. And so he's a part of this, and there's some of him left. There's some of him left in these stories, but it just feels like they did everything they could to be funny, while knowing at the same time they just can't do what they want. I was saying when I heard about this coming out that we should all turn our heads for one day about political correctness and just let Mel Brooks do whatever he wants. But obviously that's never going to happen. But yeah, I just it stinks because it's so you could tell it wants to be good and it just can't.
Yeah, because we're, again, it goes back to this whole issue of, it was only the court jester that could, to the king's face, tell the truth.
Yes.
And now many times it cost the court jester his life, but people would hear it.
Correct.
And if we don't have a sense of being able to tell the truth in the country, that's a problem. And as we go for it. So, look, there was a theme today, James. The theme is, not everything is what it seems to be, but yet we pretend that it is, whether it's the women awards, whether it's Aaron Rodgers or Derek Carr or somebody thinking that they're worth more than they are, or Colin Kaepernick, thinking that, he's got to be the victim all the time, or the SNL thinking they're still relevant to be the top on the charts, or the Oscars just screaming for somebody to watch them. I mean, if you up front told them that somebody's going to get hit at the Oscars Sunday night, people would watch it.
Yeah, we're all waiting for our moment this year.
Yeah, but people are not going to watch it, and they could care less about Jimmy Kimmel, because really what has happened now is the court jesters of late night have decided that half of the country is the only half of the country worth making fun of.
There you go. I couldn't have said it better.
And that's the way it goes. And folks, that is what the Friday Finest consists of today. James and I are glad that you joined us for, again, another rollicking run through the week. Next week, you do not want to miss next week. We got some cool things coming up. We got John Botman coming up. John's going to be with us next week. John Botman from Newsmax. Also a good Georgia boy. We're going to talk music with John Botman. Also, we're going to have next week, one of our songwriters is going to be back on with us, Aaron Barker, next week with us. Of course, we'll always have the Friday's Finest with James and I going at it. Lots more. Got a lot of good stuff coming. Keep it coming. Go to the DougCollinsPodcast.com. Hit the email button if you want to email us. Go to our Rumble page, our YouTube page. You can watch us there. Of course, keep up with us on social media at Rep Doug Collins on Twitter, Georgia Doug Collins GA on Instagram. We'll have all of that out there. God bless you. We'll see you again next time on the Doug Collins Podcast. Hey folks, MyPillow is excited to bring to you their biggest bedding sale ever. For a limited time, you're going to get the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98, a set of pillowcases for only $9.98, and rejuvenate your bed with a MyPillow mattress topper for as low as $99.99. $99.99. Get a mattress pillow topper. Look, they come in all sizes. They got all kinds of stuff. Blankets. They've got duvets. They got quilts. They got comforters. They got body pillows. They got bolster pillows. They got all that big discounts. And also, they're extending their money-back guarantee for Christmas until March 1, 2023, making them the perfect gift for your friends, your family, and for everyone you know. Folks, and just from a personal note here, I have the Giza Dream Sheets. They're on my bed right now. I slept on them last night. Some of the best sheets that we and Lisa and I have ever owned. They are worth, at this price, they're a steal. My wife and I have bought bed sheets, linens at much higher cost. It's supposedly much higher quality. These from MyPillow are at the highest of quality, and at a price like this, you can't beat it. So go now to MyPillow.com, use promo code Collins, COLLINS, or call 1-800-986-3994, and you'll get huge discounts on all the MyPillow bedding products, including the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98, and get all your shopping done while qualities last. And remember, put in that promo code Collins for these discounts.